In the sleepy coastal town of Mistmore, where fog clings to windows like desperate fingers and rain whispers secrets to those who listen, there lived a girl named Elara. You know, she wasn't like other 15-year-olds, not even close. The kind of different where weird things just happened around her. Picture this. She'd be walking home from school, lost in thought, and suddenly every streetlight she passed would start dancing, flickering like they were trying to tell her something. And the birds? Oh, they were her constant companions, following her around town like she was some kind of teenage Snow White. But it was more than that. The really strange part? When emotions got the better of her, you know those teenage moments when everything feels like the end of the world, the wind would pick up. Not just a gentle breeze, mind you, but a howling, screaming force that seemed to mirror every bit of anger or sadness inside her. The locals would whisper, "There goes Elara again," as they rushed to bring in their laundry from the lines. But nothing could prepare her for that one rainy morning. The kind of morning where the clouds hung so low you could almost touch them. Elara was standing in front of her bathroom mirror, absent-mindedly brushing her teeth when she saw it. A shimmer, like sunlight on water, hovering just behind her reflection. Her heart stopped. She spun around so fast she nearly slipped on the tile floor, but nothing. Just her cramped bathroom, steam rising from the shower she'd just taken. Then something even stranger happened. The mirror began to fog up, but not in the usual way. No, this was different. Words appeared as if written by an invisible finger. "You are more than they told you." Elara stood there, toothbrush hanging from her mouth, watching as the words slowly faded away. That night, as she tossed and turned in her bed, listening to the eternal drizzle of Mistmore's rain, sleep finally took her. And in that space between dreaming and waking, a voice as ancient as the wind itself whispered in her ear, "It's time to awaken, little winged one." The words echoed in her mind, stirring something deep within her soul, something that had been sleeping, waiting for just the right moment to spread its wings and soar. In that moment, Elara knew her quiet life in Mistmore was about to change forever. The real question was she ready for what came next? The night it happened started like any other. I was dreaming of flying, the same dream I'd had since I was little. But this time, when I jolted awake, something was different. The burning sensation between my shoulder blades wasn't just lingering dream residue. It was real, and it was excruciating. I stumbled to my mirror, and that's when I saw them. Wings, actual gossamer wings, shimmering with an otherworldly light sprouting from my back like they'd been there all along. I remember thinking, this isn't happening, this can't be happening. But every time I blinked, they were still there, casting their ethereal glow across my bedroom walls. My first thought wasn't about how beautiful they were or how impossible. It was about my foster parents sleeping down the hall. What would they think? What would they do? I grabbed the biggest hoodie I owned and somehow managed to hide them, but I could feel them pressing against the fabric, desperate to break free. School was a nightmare. Every bump in the hallway made me flinch. Every laugh felt directed at me. I spent most of the day hiding in the third-floor bathroom, the one nobody uses. That's where she found me, the woman with eyes like liquid moonlight. She just appeared, like she'd stepped out of the air itself. "You're one of us," she said, her voice carrying an ancient melody I somehow recognized. A windling, a fairy born of the storm. The words hit me like a physical force. They hit it to keep you safe. Safe. The word echoed in my head as I ran. Past her, past the surprised faces in the hallway, past everything I thought I knew about myself. I didn't want this. I didn't want to be different, to be magical, to be hunted. I just wanted to be normal, Elara, the foster kid trying to blend in. But as I burst through the school doors, the wind whispering secrets I could suddenly understand, I realized it was too late. The truth about what I really was, had finally caught up with me. And somehow, deep down, I'd always known this day would come. The wings beneath my hoodie quivered, responding to my fear, my confusion, my desperate desire to fly away from it all. But where do you run when what you're running from is yourself? That's the question I had to answer, and fast, because I wasn't just Elara anymore. I was something else entirely, and something told me the world wasn't ready for what I'd become. In the quieter moments of our lives, we often wonder what we'd do if faced with an impossible choice. For Elara, that moment came on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, a day that would change everything. The air was crisp, leaves dancing in the autumn breeze as she walked down Main Street. It was the kind of day where nothing extraordinary was supposed to happen. But life has a way of shattering our expectations, doesn't it? The screams reached her first. Then the acrid smell of smoke, thick and choking. The old Morrison's bookstore, a beloved landmark that had stood for generations, was being devoured by angry flames. Through the smoke-stained windows, she could see faces pressed against the glass, desperate hands pounding for help. And then she heard it. A small, terrified voice she knew all too well. Liam. Sweet, 8-year-old Liam, who always sat cross-legged in the children's corner every Saturday morning, lost in his adventures and dragon tales. Time seemed to slow down as Elara looked around. No sirens in the distance. No fire trucks racing to the rescue. Just the crackle of flames and the growing crowd of helpless onlookers, their phones raised to capture the tragedy unfolding before them. She had spent years hiding who she was. Years of careful secrecy, of binding her wings so tight they ached, of pretending to be something she wasn't. Her mother's words echoed in her head. Once they know, there's no going back. But how do you weigh a lifetime of secrets against a child's life? The decision took less than a heartbeat. Elara darted into the narrow alley beside the burning building, her trembling fingers frantically working at the straps of her jacket. As it fell away, her wings unfurled, magnificent, powerful, impossible to ignore. They caught the light like mother of pearl, stretching 12 feet from tip to tip. The crowd gasped as she emerged, but Elara didn't hesitate. With 3 powerful beats of her wings, she was airborne. The fire seemed to part before her, as if even it recognized something ancient and powerful in her presence. Through the shattered window she flew, finding Liam huddled beneath a desk, crying but alive. Scooping him up, she turned just as the ceiling gave way with a thunderous crack. One powerful thrust of her wings carried them to safety, emerging through a cloud of smoke and ember into the clear blue sky. As they touched down, the phones were already recording, social media lighting up with impossible images of an angel in jeans and a t-shirt. Her secret was out, her life as she knew it was over. But as Liam's mother wrapped him in her arms, sobbing with relief, Elara knew some secrets aren't worth keeping. Some moments demand we show the world who we truly are. Consequences be damned. The headlines spread like wildfire across every screen in the city. Real fairy saves child. The shaky phone footage played on repeat. A young woman with luminescent wings diving from a building to catch a falling toddler. That woman was me, and my carefully hidden secret was now the world's most viral video. Some called me an angel, a miracle, a gift from above. Others weren't so kind, freak, they whispered. Mutant, they posted. Lock her up, they demanded. Fear and wonder make strange bedfellows, and I was caught between both. My quiet life crumbled within hours. Reporters became permanent fixtures outside my house, their cameras flashing day and night like artificial stars. People I'd never met showed up at my doorstep, some crying, some begging for help with their own problems. Please, they'd say, my child is sick, or I've lost everything. Each story broke my heart, but I couldn't help them all. Then there was the dark van. Every night it would park across from my street, its tinted windows revealing nothing of who watched from within. But I could feel their eyes calculating, waiting. I was contemplating disappearing forever when she appeared, the woman with silver eyes who had haunted my dreams since childhood. Only this time she stood in my living room, solid and real. Her expression was grim, her voice heavy with warning. They know now, she said, her silver eyes reflecting moonlight like mirrors. And they'll come. Not all fairies are kind, Elara. Some have waited centuries for exposure like this, and they have plans that would make mortals tremble. My heart raced as the weight of her words sank in. I had a choice to make. Run forever, disappearing into the shadows of the world, or stand and face whatever was coming. To hide what I was or embrace it fully, consequences be damned. That night I stood on my balcony, letting the cool breeze brush against my wings. They glowed softly in the moonlight, like stained glass catching the sun. I thought about that child I'd saved, about the look of pure wonder in people's eyes, about all those who needed help in a world growing darker by the day. I stretched my wings to their full span, feeling the power humming through them. Let them come, the kind and cruel, the fearful and brave, the light and dark fairies alike. I'm done hiding in shadows, done pretending to be less than I am. I'm done hiding, I whispered to the night, and my wings blazed brighter in response, a beacon to all who watched. The time for secrets was over. The time for standing tall had begun. In the quiet seaside town of Mist Moor, where waves whispered ancient secrets and fog clung to cobblestone streets, no one expected that ordinary night to change everything. Elara had always been different. The townspeople knew her as the shy girl who worked at the bookshop, who seemed to disappear into the shadows whenever attention turned her way. But destiny has a funny way of finding those who try to hide from it. That fateful night, darkness fell differently. The air grew thick with an otherworldly presence, and a shadow creature, a shapeshifter from the dark realms, emerged from between worlds. It had sensed Elara's dormant power, a force she herself barely understood, and it had come to claim it. The first sign was a bone-chilling screech that echoed through Mistmoor's narrow streets. Windows rattled, children huddled under blankets, and the brave few who dared to look outside saw a mass of writhing darkness approaching the town. But something extraordinary happened. Elara stepped forward, her fear giving way to determination. For the first time in her life, she embraced who she truly was. Her feet lifted from the ground as previously hidden wings unfurled, glowing with an ethereal light. The battle that followed was like nothing Mistmoor had ever witnessed. Elara soared above the sea cliffs, her wings cutting through storm clouds like silver blades. The shapeshifter pursued her, its form twisting and morphing in the darkness. Lightning crackled across the sky, illuminating their deadly dance. The wind responded to her every movement, growing stronger with each passing moment. The ocean below churned and roared, as if nature itself was lending its strength to her cause. In that crucial moment when all seemed lost, Elara released a cry that shook the very foundations of the earth. A tornado, more powerful than any storm in living memory, erupted from her being. It spiraled upward, a column of pure force that caught the shadow creature in its grasp. The monster's screams were lost in the howling wind as it was torn apart, scattered into nothingness. As silence returned to Mistmoor, Elara descended gracefully, her wings folding around her like a protective embrace. She was exhausted, yes, but there was a new light in her eyes, the light of someone who had finally found their purpose. The townspeople emerged from their homes, their fear replaced by awe and gratitude. They gathered around her, not as the quiet bookshop girl they once knew, but as something more, something magnificent. In that moment, Elara the shy, the hidden, the uncertain, transformed into Elara Windling, protector of Mistmoor, master of the skies, the hero they never saw coming. And as she stood there surrounded by cheering voices and grateful faces, she finally understood that sometimes the greatest power lies in accepting who you truly are.